Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 28 of the GhettoRig podcast. Today we got Felix in. You guys know him very well.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's need for introduction. He's just like one of us at this point. He's gonna get part of equity when this shit gets there. So welcome back, guys. We got some stuff to talk about here today. We were talking about jujitsu. I wanted to ask you guys some questions. You guys are a little more experienced than I do. What do you think is like besides like staying consistent at the gym? What are some other like tips you would say like to get your advancement really in like into the gym? Like if it's maybe like placing yourself around like people who go to the like workout in jiu-jitsu as well, like should you like maybe outside of the gym as well? What do you guys think? Besides staying consistent, because we all like we always talk about that on Sundays, is that's the number one thing, right?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be fair with this question. I'm gonna let Jay to answer it, and then I'm gonna be leveraging on Jay's answer, and I'm gonna be putting a couple of comments.
So, for me, it's consistency. You have to fall in love with sucking.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
at all times.
Okay, that's a good thing because you say
At all
consistency, but like
times.
that. Okay, that's there.
You have to fall in love with sucking at all times because
I
there's
like that.
always going to be someone that's 10 times better than you, has a lower belt than you. They're just going to be better. It depends on your age, your weight, your just so many factors,
Yeah.
right? So I think if you suck with it, you embrace that, and then I think if
David
you
Goggins, that shit, like embrace the darkness kind of thing.
pretty much, and then if you put the ego at the proverbial doorstep when you're stepping in on a mat, I think that, and then time, literally time. Like it's one of those things. I wish it was Matrix where you could just like sit in a machine and it's like wake up. Oh, I know jujitsu.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That was a Matrix, the first one. I was
Yeah.
like, and I was training jiu-jitsu. It was like, ah, damn it!
Yeah.
This is the movie. This is the
Yeah.
shit.
So I think time, leave your ego outside, and embrace the suck.
Embrace
Like you
it,
really
yeah.
have to embrace the suck, because no matter how strong you are, no matter how good you are, there's always someone that's better than you. And I think the more you get tapped and the more losses you take, the better it is. The more you fail, the better it is. So go in there with an idea that you're gonna fail, and
Because you're gonna
you're
have
okay
to, you
with
gotta
failing.
you gotta get it over with anyway. So right, so like if you can embrace the fact that like let's do it, like you can kind of get past that faster in a sense versus like always wanting to like I don't want to never get tapped like kind of thing. If you kind of think that way, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, and then also no one is gonna go on social media and then place like Eddie and Jay rolled, Eddie won, Jay
Yeah,
lost,
no.
or Jay won, Eddie lost. No one cares. What happens on the mat stays on the mat. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that Vegas thing, and you come out of it like even if it's just a like quarter inch, but you come over a quarter inch ahead of the game now. I think that's
Yeah. So again, like leveraging on what Jay said, there's something that doesn't lie, which is mat hours, right? So you're gonna hear a lot of people saying like, "Yeah, I've been training for 15 years, jiu-jitsu or whatever." Like, yeah, like 15 years, going, once a week, for 1.5 hours, and out of those 1.5 hours, like it was like 30 minutes of like
That's 5 years for a guy that goes 3 times a week. You know what I mean?
So again, there's been phenomenon on the sports. You can see like people like reaching their black belts in like 3 years, 3.5 years.
Yeah, but these guys that like literally are like, oh, I'm dedicating myself to this.
and acai bowls, acai bowls and Jesus.
Yeah, and coconut water.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people, like into the sport, and it's just a matter on how many hours do you actually put into the sport, and this is gonna correlate into everything you do in life. It's like how much like how invested are you into what your passion is. If you want to make this like something, you want to be good at it, you got to be like putting a lot of hours and determination to it. So that's the first thing, mat hours. Second thing is that like literally the mat takes out the best and the worst out of you. if you got like drama like on the outside, you have like problems in your house, you have problems with your wife, with your kids, at work or whatever, this is your fun space. You go there and you actually, you're in a different world. This is where you actually get to open your mind and enjoy.
And you can't be thinking about problems outside of the mat, because if you do hear someone's gonna do, like you're getting armbar, you're getting choked, they're taking your back, they're taking you down. If the moment you take that mentality off the mat, fucking up.
Yeah, and also every time you are training, right? You got to understand that sometimes you are the hammer, and sometimes you are the nail.
And a lot of times you're the nail.
If you are a 280-pound like guy, right, training on a daily basis, and let's say you're good. I'm not saying I'm gonna say you're bad, but let's say you're good. But because of your weight, because of your strength, because of, like, obviously you're gonna have a competitive advantage versus a slimmer guy, right? So if you're not used to those like kind of like difficult positions, it's like, like being on the bottom and getting all that, pressure on top of you. You are never gonna be, you're never gonna excel. You're never gonna be, able to like perfect your game or your jiu-jitsu or whatever you do. So be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Those are like the three things that I really recommend people. Like, you may be the toughest toughest guy out there, but once you're rolling, you gotta be able to, like, give out your soft spot or your weaker spot for people to try to do something. You get caught in uncomfortable situations for you to like try to get out or whatever it is. So that's the way you start, understanding like what is it that you're doing and how you actually get to improve on what you're doing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So like, it's if you can never let someone maybe get to the armbar or triangle position, you're never gonna know how to get out of that if someone ever gets you there, kind of thing, in a sense. So learn all the areas, even the darkest ones of the more dangerous ones or whatever it is.
So like, how you hear
be
people
afraid of
saying,
those.
"Oh, meditate. This is good for you. Like 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day." You ever try meditating 2 hours a day? No, right? Or even 5 minutes a day. Like, most of us don't, right? Like, when you go to jiu-jitsu, think of it as meditation, except somebody's trying to put you in a chokehold. Somebody's trying to, because at
I
that
think
point
of
your
gaming the same way, because you're not really.
mind is empty.
Yeah.
Your mind is completely
Bro,
empty.
and the problem is like honestly, a lot of people are afraid.
Become water.
Be water, my
Be
friend.
water, my friend.
So again, a lot of people are afraid to tap. And honestly, every time you tap, you learn. And it's just like a kind of I don't know. I mean, you get to hear that all the time, and probably it's like a ridiculous thought. But when you're competing, it's like, oh, did you win? Oh, I didn't win, but but I won. What's it called? Experience. I want experience.
Yeah, learn the valuable lesson.
Yeah, but I mean, the people who say that are usually the people who lose. That usually say that. But again, it's a reality. Every time you go, I mean, you learn something out of whatever situation. Yeah. And that's I mean,
and
how are you gonna be learning doing the same shit over and over like every day? Yes, you're gonna perfect this, get details on that, but let's say I'm like training with you on a daily basis. Like, I know what you're gonna do. I know your game. I know like
It's like chess. It's kind of like
I know your flaws. I know everything. The moment you do something outside of the ordinary, I was like, what happened here? So honestly, you gotta be uncomfortable. You gotta be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
So when I used to go to competitions, back in Lithuania and sambo competitions, our coach would say, "It's all good that you're training in a gym. It's all fine, because we become friends, right?" And a lot of times, in the beginning, you got like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my friend." After a while, once you got him, he got you. That kind of just settles.
Yeah,
It settles. After that, you kind of start flowing. So you lose that sharp edge, right? But when you go to competition, one competition equals 100 training class lessons. That's what they would say. And in reality, that's exactly what he's talking about. Because when you do competitions, they're there. They want to win. You want to win. So this is going to be 100%. Your adrenaline is through the roof. You're either going to throw up or you're going to pass out because you have so much adrenaline rushing through your system. The flight or fight system kicks in, you know, and you go through these motions, you know. So, but I don't want to get philosophical, but his first point that he said, you know, like, you know, the being consistent and then putting the time in and stuff like that. It's like, again, I don't want to be philosophical, but that's like life, right? Like, let's talk about creating YouTube videos. You know, at first it's hard. You start to create the videos, and then you finally learn how to create the videos, and now you're good at it. But now you come to the time, it's like, man, this shit's boring because you're doing everything over and over again. So that the point is to becoming okay with doing the same shit over and over again, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's nothing sexy about it. It's just it's literally mindless because you're not thinking about anything. Your mind is empty, mindless repeating of the same thing over and over again. And then you start falling in love with it. When you start falling in love with the process, that's when you start progressing.
And it's like, yeah, I'm seeing, you know, people like on the chat as well. And yes, like jiu-jitsu is usually called like human chess. Because let's say you do something, okay, like say you took this step, okay, I went this route, boom, I got choked. Okay, go back one step. You go this route, you get armbarred. I was like, okay, so if I go this way, I get choked. If I go this way, I get armbarred.
Let's go back
so,
now.
You know what? Let me go straight. Instead of left, right, let me go straight. So okay, so again, everything you do is for a reason. And again, everything you gotta come to a point and that's why, you know, when I started, you know, responding to your question, when I tell you it's mat hours, it's because everything you do, all the techniques that you learn on a daily basis, you need to make it part of your muscular memory, you know? And that's the only way. You need to be able or capable of, you know, like if I show you an armbar today, you got to do it from every single position, like regardless. Even if it's a mount, if it's from the back, it's here, there, like whatever. Like if you were able...
The one that from Turtle that you were showing me and Felix that day, that was cool.
Like, and the beauty of that is that I'm showing you this, and then it's like, okay, like how can you connect this technique that I just showed you with this other technique that we, you know, just recently learned last week?
Yeah.
And that's something I learned one time. They told me that, and I like always say it. Like jiu-jitsu is not squared. It's not like jiu-jitsu is like, you know, it's like a moving circle. You know, it's like so many different ways, so many different aspects, everything. You know,
it's the reason they compare it to chess is because the best players, chess players in the world, right? The best chess players. I'm not talking about number 1, number 2, number 10. I'm talking about the everyone below number 10 and above a number 100 or 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000, right?
You mean, let's say top 1,000.
Let's say top 1,000. Those guys, the way they start, they
girls. That's a badass girls.
Bad girls. Those guys and girls, the way they start this, they start by memorizing gambits. Gambits is like the moves, you know, like, and how this happens, they either in a book, online, or a coach shows them, okay, so you have this setup on a board. You have 5 moves. You have to do a checkmate, no matter what happens. So you have to figure out how to do that. So once you know this gambit, then you know the other gambit, then you know the third gambit. You start connecting all these gambits, and this is how the game starts evolving. Because when a person moves this, you're like, okay, I have 30 gambits I can play. I'm going to play this gambit. And then you kind of start pushing the course of the let think of it as a river, and you start dredging the river the way you want it to go.
And I imagine chess is very, because I know the basics of chess. Like if you were to bring a chessboard out, I could definitely play a game, but I have no idea how the strategy works.
Yeah,
right. I'll be playing like just someone that knows the rules. Right. That's literally it.
knowing the rules is the beginning. That's like getting
Yeah.
your white belt. You learn
Yeah.
the rules,
Yeah.
and then
But
from
not
there,
to do. Don't kick him in the head. Don't do this.
yeah, and then
don't bite him.
and then from there, that's when your gambits come in. The gambits that you memorize.
So like, and that makes me think of what I was trying to say is I assume chess is kind of like how you were showing us the guard pass to side control, right, or to neon belly. But then you can do so many other things from there. I'm assuming with chess probably works the same way in
Yes.
the sense like there's a lot of I guess you can say strategies that have like the same 5-10 moves that are exactly
But it's
the same.
it's the same
but
thing.
Then, spread out.
Because you're always trying to anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're playing chess, it's like, okay, if I do this, this guy's gonna move that one here. So where are the like, if I move my I don't know my pawn 2 steps forward, what does your opponent can do? You know, like, and what type of risk are you like to be? Get checkmate, checkmate.
Checkmate.
So it's like that. If you're thinking about moving one piece, it's like always thinking about, oh, no. Like, if I move this here, I'm going to get here. If I move this here, I'm going to get here. It's the same thing.
And
The
this
deeper it gets, the more dangerous it gets, kind of thing. What if I get all right in the middle of the game? I move my queen. It's going to be fucked.
so
up.
this is this is not a hard rule, but they say up to later in, like let's just use blue belt and then stripes, like up to 3 to 4 stripes on your blue belt, which after 4 stripe you get the purple belt, right? Once you get to the 3 and 4 stripes, again, this is not a hard rule by any means, right? So this is when you start developing this game where it's like, okay, well, I have this game in my head. For example, let's say I'm gonna pull guard. After pulling guard, I'm gonna go either into the full guard, or I'm gonna go into half guard, or I'm gonna go with my knee on a chest, right? But in the beginning, you only know full guard. So you pull guard, you're trying to go into half guard, but the guy knows what you're doing. Full guard is not there anymore. So what do I do? So you start learning these gambits. So the full guard is not there. I'm going to do this. And then slowly, once you reach that higher level of blue belt, right? Then you're like, okay, well, full guard is not there, but there's the half guard. Okay, half guard is not there, but there is this. So it kind of becomes like if you start at the point here, it goes this way, and then it can go back this way, and then this way, and then it opens up a new complete flower here that connects to this. That's what it is.
It's got so many different pathways from all the different positions, and the more you learn those, the more you can flow and stuff like that. Like that's why you see the awkwardness in us white belts, because we only know like these very small paths that so far. It's the time.
And
that's the thing. Like the if you talk about like what does a white belt needs to know and understand, it's always gonna be survival. It's how to survive.
Yep.
That's it.
And
then
then
how not to get tapped or how not to get submitted and just move. And every single white belt,
Mr. Miyagi style, defense first.
every single white belt, you're gonna see they put like 150% like strength, like in everything. And then, but if you put like 100%, like at that point, putting all that strength, it's gonna lead to you being like gas out of energy, and just being like very tired. And that's gonna lead like a friend of ours that on the first day of training straight to the bathroom and throwing up. So that always happens. That's what it is. And then it's like, yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I train every day. I go to the gym and I lift weights and I run and everything. It's way different. It's way different.
For those people who haven't like done a martial art, that you haven't, not to say that other sports aren't tiring, but it's a different kind of
it takes in the beginning. It takes everything from you, physically, mentally, everything, because before, like, every average guy you ask, and they'll tell you, I see red. They have to pull me off. They have zero idea what that is.
When I was when I talked about how I did MMA back when I was in middle school, right? And we mostly kind of did.
Wait. Like for the record, I had plenty of conversations with you, asking you in a very humble way to please join us, just to give it a try. And you're like, oh no, because I trained this and blah blah blah. Like, bro, like trust me.
No.
You try it one time, you're gonna be hooked up with the sport. Like, trust me on it.
I told you, I'm still saying this to this day. I still prefer what I like is boxing. I still prefer that. That's what I learned to love after doing all the years of trying everything.
So
You know, so when I did MMA, it was more of like one day we're gonna do kickboxing, one day we do Muay Thai. A lot of days we were grappling. A lot of fucking days we were grappling. So, and I think what it was is I was younger with this still kind of like the weight I have now, and I couldn't really throw it around. Now that I've kind of grown into it, I think that's what makes grappling a little more fun. And it was funny too because people always told me, "Oh, you're a bigger guy. I bet you like the wrestling more." I was like, "No, I don't. I don't."
So one thing that
What I was trying to say was about the whole tiring thing is like the most tiring days were when we would do full on MMA because it's like you're punching, and then someone takes you down. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is now when the real tiring starts, and then to get back up and do that, like that's a different kind of like endurance to have to really like those MMA fighters. It's insane, and boxing too.
But see, my suggestion, which almost 99% of the time fails, every time a white belt comes in, I always tell him, listen, we practiced the move, right? Right. Did you get it? He's like, yeah, I did it 5 times, didn't work out. The next 3 times worked out. I did it. Okay, good. Now, when you're rolling with someone, literally concentrate on doing that move on that person. I don't care if it works. I don't care if it doesn't work. Just keep doing the same thing that you just practiced because when you're just practicing the move, you're not getting the same energy back as you would get in a roll. So in a roll, shit goes always sideways. Always goes sideways. Kind of like construction. You lift the floor up, shit always goes sideways. So that's why doing that move that you just learned in that roll is gonna be more beneficial to you than just kind of like going in there and trying to make shit up and trying to get your legs around somebody's neck, which you don't even know what the hell you're doing, but you're doing it. And then when you ask you why you doing this, like, I don't know, that was my plan. You know what I mean?
I always wonder what's like a good how to. I mean, I guess there's no other way probably than like the hours on the mat, but how to create that good threshold of like resistance when you're just drilling something new. So someone, because like if you just when you're going to drill something, right, and the person like say you're guard or whatever, and the person's just kind of flat on their back, to drill it is kind of uncomfortable because it's not a real situation. So
you can't. You can have a partner that's pretty good, but you'll never be able to simulate an actual role.
Not the full thing, but what's a good
It's your partner. You gotta tell them, hey, listen, stop being a dummy. Like, give me some resistance. Give me 30%. Give me 40. Give me 50. You feeling more confident? Give me 70% resistance.
So communicate to the person. Give me some more fight.
Like honestly, if you're like drilling, guard passes, like it's like, listen, if you were like down like on your guard and protecting this, like not letting me pass, like what would you do? Like what would you be staying like flat on your back? Like honestly, like a sack and like a piece of like full of shit. It's like, bro. It's like, bro,
Yeah. So
but anyways, I'm sorry, Jay, to cut you there. I saw a good question.
Well, go ahead.
I saw a good question here, and it's like asking about like your opinion on if couples should train together, jiu-jitsu. So
I think it's good. I think it's really good.
On my opinion, that's a very, very good question. Thank you, Felix, for that. My brother, by the way.
Oh shit! Is Diana gonna start coming?
Yeah. Well, he was asking about Arthur and the net, but anyways, like building on your question and obviously trying to give you a straight answer on that one. You're gonna hear that a lot, like couples that train together stay forever, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, really, is like still for a lot of conservative women. Conservative, is that the way?
Yeah.
In a certain way, jiu-jitsu is it's a little.
You said it. So conservative, not for the girls. Like
it's a little bit too much, and why? Because obviously you get caught in like certain positions, and there again, like it's very common for you training, and I was like, oh, I held you in a bad spot, my bad, I'm sorry, or whatever.
We can all agree north south is a little sus.
Yeah.
It's a little sus.
Or like in a triangle there,
and you're pushing their head down.
I think I have a good excuse. So if the couple is going and say they're pairing up with each other, whatever, right? I have a good excuse for them to go. the way I would talk to the guy, I'm like, bro, you're gonna whatever. You convince the guy, right? Now, how you convince the wife to start joining, right? In my opinion, you should come out to her and say, what was the time when your husband or your boyfriend really, really pissed you off? And they'll be like, this is the time that pissed me off. Oh, what did they do? And you bring that shit up to get them, and you can see it in their face. They get the shit starts boiling, right? And guess what? You know, it's like the OxyClean commercial. Guess what? There's a solution.
But honestly,
you're just gonna just put him to sleep.
listen, honestly,
Jay, I got a
honestly,
question
and
for
Jay
you.
perhaps is not gonna let me lie on this one. Probably out of like 10 couples, you know, maybe 7 or 8 out of them, you know, the wife or the girlfriend or whatever it is, it's better than the men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By far more technical, more stamina, like everything.
Mhm.
More into details. It's like what, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that. I really, you know, would
Jay,
like,
have-
you know, to my wife to like train with me and whatever. She's like more on the delicate side. Oh, that's too hard. I don't want to, because again, you need to understand what are you getting involved with. You know,
Yeah.
I get, you know, I get to my house every day with like, you know, bruises on my legs and here and
Yeah.
there. Or yes, I've had, you know, my ears drained, you know, because I don't want cauliflower ears. You know, I don't have a problem with cauliflower ears. I think that on a professional aspect, you know, me being on a professional side and an executive level, like you don't want to be showing up with
Black
like,
and
ears like
blue,
this, you know.
Yeah.
So my wife seeing all that, you know, it's like you know what? I don't think that's for me, you know.
Yeah.
What was
Jay,
it?
That-
I got a
that
question
definitely
for you.
scares
Have
me.
you
Yeah.
ever taken a girl on a jujitsu date?
No, never have I.
That's
But
gonna
What do
be
you
how
mean, like naked jujitsu?
Whatever he wants to
He's
do.
done
I
that.
mean,
He's definitely done that.
So I've never taken a girl on a jujitsu date, but I had girls that would try some shit, some slick shit, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever, and then they'll try some more slick shit, and then
and then he
I'll
just
just-
ends up choking.
and
them.
then I'll just not choking. I'll just grab, and I was like, okay, so what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? Okay, so you want to learn now? When I piss you off, you can do something. Okay, show me. It's usually that's how it works, right? Like I think what happens with the couples that do go
I'm
to
about to
jiu-jitsu.
order a mat, by the way, to take it to my house. I can start
What?
practicing with Emily.
Yeah, you,
I mean, you won't even imagine like the amount of like the amount of time like that I spend, or like, you know, many times that I ask like, Aussie, this is what we need to do, like get mats, you know, like this is gonna be the best thing for you. It took me like 6-7 months, and then he got it, and like, and
Look where we are. Yeah.
now you see like the different story.
group
on it.
started with 4 people, then became 5, then became 6, then became 8. Now there are 11 people. You know what I mean? Like
It's
group
11
is
or
growing.
10, I thought.
10, 11, whatever
10,
it
I
is.
think.
We're at 10, right? Like it took a couple of months, but we slowly started growing. Why? Because I think number one, for guys, it's a good bonding time, right? Like it's for guys to bond, like, you know, because it's not all about jiu-jitsu, because we get there, we live our frustrations on the
You
mat,
want some
and then
rice, brother?
I'm good.
Sure.
Maybe
then-
like in 5 minutes.
and then we talk, we joke, we like there's this sharing of it's like being a guy. You need that time for yourself, right? And then for couples, to bring it back, for couples is like, you know, whatever frustrations they have, they take it out on each other on a mat, and when they do go home, like the other day, because he left the cabinet door open, is not important anymore. You know what I mean? Or he left a dirty dish in the sink is
Or
not
because
important
she didn't
anymore.
do laundry. It's not
Or
important.
or like, you know, she forgot the time that it's 6 o'clock they had to be in dinner, and now
Yeah.
they're 30 minutes late or an
Yeah,
hour
it
late.
doesn't matter anymore.
So it doesn't matter anymore because
Yeah.
you already took that out on a mat. Now, when I'm saying this, I'm not talking about you drink Mountain Dew and become a wife beater. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I'm talking about. You know what?
slamming that bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is you go out there and then you both do things, and then, you know, she takes out her frustration on you, you take out your frustration on her, and it's over with. You know what I mean? Neither one of you is trying to kill each other, but that's gone.
It almost bears down to the sense where it's like, oh, you know, like they, you know, people used to say, like, people not used to say, but a lot of people think like, oh, like men just duke it out and like they'll get over it, right? Like how you, like you've seen a lot of people cases say like, oh, like friends will just fight and like the next day it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. If it wasn't nothing too serious. And then, but they're like, well, girls, it's not like that because they hold grudges and this and that.
Yeah, but
No,
like
they can learn to, you know.
Like,
We got both of
but honestly, and you know that, like, we had the privilege of having Emily, you know, one day there, and honestly, she was doing the techniques like, you know, like on on a much better scale, you know, like technical level than you were on the first
Yeah.
Yeah, because they like to listen. She
know?
listens, and it's like, okay, I don't know shit, so let me listen and let me do it. And we guys, I got this because I got strength, you know. So we don't listen shit, and we're doing it our way, you know.
There you go, but you gotta understand like the difference. Like maybe, like like obviously, like husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like probably 90% of the time, the husband or the male is always gonna be like winning. But it's because of strength,
Yeah.
But on a technical level,
Like
Girls
details,
got it,
like
bro.
Little details.
girls are
Girls
always gonna
got
be, like way up there,
Yeah.
very nice, like
And
fully into details.
I tell you this: I've talked to girls that have competed, and I've talked to girls that are just training, whatever, and they say when girls go at it, they don't like to roll with guys. And one of the biggest reasons, number one reason they don't like to roll with guys, is because guys don't give them the same energy as the girl will.
Yep.
When they go at each other, bro, they actually go at each other. And like we have both of the Alexes in the chat, and I'm sure they're really good at researching shit. So there is this festival in Peru. When these motherfuckers get together, the entire town gets together. They all get drunk. They put on like the boxing.
Is this where they beat their ass?
So they put those boxing raps, and they literally square up against each other, and they fight each other. So throughout the year, whatever.
These are only women?
No. Wait a minute. It's women and men.
Okay.
So whatever grudges they have against the other person throughout the year, they're like, okay, you have a grudge? Great. Everybody's kind of drunk. They get into this gigantic field. They have referees with like, what do you call those things? The whips.
Yeah.
You know,
like
they're running
sticks
around. They got
almost.
like these crazy costumes with like birds on their heads and shit. And they get in this thing, and they literally just like start punching and kicking each other. It's a once a year, and everyone waits for that because they all accumulate these grudges throughout the year. Yeah. And after this is done, they just hug it out and call it a day, and it's over until the next year.
That
You know
reminds
what I
me
mean?
of when I did MMA. There was this they talked about in the part before, these sisters that used to train, and they had trained there before I even started training, like I think a year or two before I got there. And the older sister, she used to get to class mad sometimes, pissed off. And my professor was kind of an asshole in the sense that he would just be like, oh, what boy pissed you off today? Like, oh, you're going to use that today. And when we would box or grapple or whatever, like, she would go at it. And she used to, like, both of those sisters, I remember they used to love to kick. And they'd go at it on your legs. By the time you left that day, like, the outside, and they used to love the inside leg kick. Oh my god! Oh, they used to kick me in the balls all the time too. That shit sucked. That shit sucked.
Yeah, I remember this day. I had this
See, me,
boss that I used to love him.
Miggy, see if you can find that
his
that
name-
clip. Yeah,
The festival.
Yeah, the
Pull it
festival.
up.
His name was Ethan. And I remember one time going to jiu-jitsu class, and I was like, hey, bro, I was rolling with a white belt. I was like, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Ethan. And I was like, oh, my God. Like,
I can pull it up real
like
quick.
bro,
now.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Your name is Ethan, so fuck it. Oh, and by the way, my professor, he was a very, very nice guy. I said
Blast
nice,
it
but
to
he
the
was
chat, too,
like,
so chat can
really,
see
really,
it.
really, really good guy. You were saying.
So
It was pretty clear from the get-go that Yike's reputation is well earned. Even the kids' fights here were a million times more intense than the ones in Santo Tomas.
What the hell?
yeah, bro, they don't let the crowd
was showing
get
me
in
how
the
to
middle
rap
of it,
this.
so they're whipping these
So we got
people to
whipped.
stay outside.
By a guy that was pretty rude. This is the guy I'm fighting. He owns a pet eagle, has 2 girlfriends, and rides a motorcycle. He's also taller than me, and he has long hair. Not looking forward to this fucking fight.
So this
Jose was
guy
fighting a
from
rival
Vice
before me,
is gonna
which gave me
be
the
fucking
opportunity to see
fighting?
what I was up against,
No.
and hopefully get a little handicap courtesy of said rival.
They're just
brawling.
wailing.
Yeah, toe-to-toe,
Starting to freak out.
no technique. Just fucking hooks. Kicks down the middle. Hooks. Make the hands move
My
up.
bowels just clenched, man.
This guy's gonna puke before he even starts.
So I haven't done any training for this. I don't think my opponent has either, but I'm pretty sure my opponent's life is training.
This is a white dude that went
Ready?
to Peru, you know?
Okay, this is it.
Yeah. So that's what this is, the festival they have every year. I'm telling you, they'll get drunk. There are some people that just get drunk because they don't have no grudges. But the ones that do have grudges, they'll get drunk and they'll get in the middle. And those guys with whips make sure that nobody from the crowd jumps in, because if the crowd tries to come closer, they just whip it. So they go back and then they come back. And when they say stop and they don't stop, they whip both of them to stop.
God.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. And you know, like. And it's not the only culture that has this, right? Like the wrestling came from Greek-Roman times, you know, because literally it's called Greco-Roman wrestling,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then you have Samoans that did it. All of these cultures had these rites of passage. As a guy, you had to always go and do these things. And then once a year, they would have competitions and things like that, or there would be challengers.
You know, I thought I was listening to the Yoel Romero talk about, you know, he's from Cuba, the UFC. He fights for Bellator now. He actually has a fight. He's going to be fighting for the light heavyweight championship.
The soldier of God.
Yeah.
Have you heard that shit?
Romero.
Joe Rogan's thing when he's talking about that.
Yeah.
Like he got hit in his eye socket, and when they went to the doctor pretty much said like I've never seen anyone like this. Like his muscles like in the eye socket are completely different. It already started healing.
Yeah. So like they were that same doctor said he's like a specimen. Like there's probably this is like one in like probably 500,000 to 100,000. He said something like that. He's like, oh, they make me into a machine.
Yeah.
Anyways, they have like in Cuba apparently all of the, you know, martial arts. What was it called? Like
Academies or whatever.
I guess you say academies, but what I wanted to say was like
Federation, martial arts
curriculums,
federation.
like Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling. They have their Taekwondo.
Modalities.
Yeah.
Martial arts modalities
Anyways, they have like a pyramid style system in the sense like you go to these schools, right? And you train during the week and then you go home during the weekend. And it's actually like a school. So I think he said from 8 to 12, they teach you like actually school, like history, math, all these things, right? And then after that, you'd go train, do chores, I'm assuming probably because you live in like a dorms kind of setup. Anyways, and you train and compete against each other. And you go up like this triangle. And the higher you get up this like pyramid style thing, the higher you get up the pyramid, the better you're treated. The better food they provide. I think like you get like the better areas of sleep and stuff like that. And I thought that was like it's funny because it kind of shows like like how Cuba it kind of is in general, you know. Like,
but you also talked about Joe Rogan also talked about how back in the day the Soviets used to do fucking human experiments to build this machine soldier. So he's thinking that they might have like, you know, injected a couple of pharmaceuticals here and there to
and this guy's like.
But I have a question for you, Eddie. You know, I mean, everybody knows about Shakespeare here, right?
Yeah.
And the famous "to be or not to be,"
Uh-huh.
right?
I've heard. I don't know much about that.
Right? But you've heard of that, right?
Yeah, that. What you talking?
To be or not to be. So for you that you've been, you know, and just, you know, leveraging a little bit like on jiu-jitsu, gi or no gi?
So, after last week, man, I gotta say no gi, man.
I was just complaining to him. I was kind of sad I couldn't just grab people by their ankle.
He said he likes it. He said he liked it. He said he likes the gi more.
No. For personal defense, which is kind of what I like.
For surviving.
Exactly.
For surviving.
For
is what he means.
surviving, I like no gi. But for trying to just fuck around, yeah, sure, gi.
I don't know. I personally, I think I like the no gi more. That's just so far. I don't know.
So my thing about gi and no gi, it's same. It's jujitsu, but they're two different animals. It's like lion and a tiger. They're both cats. They're both big. They're both vicious. Lion in its own way.
Yeah.
Tiger in its own way. They're both cats, but they're different. So I think it's not. It's kind of like, remember when Brian was talking about, it's not only cryotherapy and then cold plunge. It's both. You know what I mean? You really need, in my opinion, you really need to know both.
So if you could we're getting on this topic. Explain to me, why is it that the heel hooks and the knee bars and all those things are like what you would say frowned upon in gi jiu-jitsu and normal Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
It's injuries. Injuries. Literally, that's what it is. It's the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, leg locks have been part of jiu-jitsu since inception, honestly. But the thing is that again, it started with the Gracie family, and right now, let's say you jiu-jitsu as a sport per se has been a little bit controversial, like even for the Gracie family, because what they're seeing now and with the federation and all that, I mean, they're seeing jiu-jitsu that it was not what the Gracie family intended to create.
It evolved into something.
It evolved into something else, something a little bit more commercial. Like
seems to me, no gi is catching more mainstream attention than gi.
And I'll come back to that point. Go ahead.
So the thing is that the sport that the Gracie family created was like merely self-defense, and by that the curriculum, about all types of Gracie jiu-jitsu, has a lot of basic self-defense, like yeah, what happens if you get mugged from the back, or you get your hands caught here, or whatever, you get your arm strapped from the back, everything. They got their legit self-defense system, and that's the way it started, as a genuine self-defense system. It was a martial art. It was never intended to be a sport, okay? So it was not a sport, but it was, self-defense, and this is when they started, the way the Gracie family wanted to prove that their, self-defense system or fighting system was superior, was with those MMA fights. So from a basic self-defense system, MMA fights, into a sport, it's a completely different, monster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the difference relies. Okay? So these people, you get to see the original Gracie family, fighting for their stuff, fighting for their system, saying that I don't agree with all these that you're doing, whatever it is, whatever. So again, from the self-defense system, they already had leg lockings into this sport, But it was not until 20 something years later, and really people that were more into no gi, honestly. It was the Dean Lister and John Danaher and all those people, vast respect, legends on the sport. It was actually, I think it was, I don't remember who it was, but it was a question to Dean Lister, so he was already, implementing leg locks on his game. And they asked him, why are you, fully into, leg lock systems, why are you leg locking and shit? They say, why would you ignore 50% of the body? Because if you really think about it, it's all from here to here. All these summations are here.
And you really have more appendages up here to mess with. Two arms and the head, yeah.
But you really have all the legs, exposed and all that. So the sport has, dramatically has changed into something more it's not just this part. So it's more evolving now. You can get caught from any part. So leg locks in reality And it's because Jay's saying when people have like geese and stuff like that, usually geese are more like towards sports than anything because it's not like MMA. It's not, you know.
Yeah.
So because of that, in sports, and because of the fact that for lower belts, and that's the problem with leg locks on the system, like every other aspect. It's like white belts, they just don't know when to stop. And the reality is like when you really get a person on a heel hook, for example, you think that you're actually gonna break the heel, the ankle.
You're gonna rip that knee.
But in reality, it's the knee that's suffering. So they're putting all the pressure here, thinking that this is good, that the thing is gonna pop. It's actually the knees that's hurting here. So they just don't know. So again, it's a very different. So only like a small portion of like leg locking, such as straight ankle lock and stuff like that, are permitted with the gi. And like depending on the belt that you hold, then you have access to.
So there are leg locks in gi as well.
Yes.
There are leg locks, straight ankle lock.
I thought it was just like no leg locks.
No, you got
No,
a
no,
straight
there are
ankle
leg
lock. Toe holds, knee bars and stuff like that. But
Can you
they're just
can you
not
calf
permitted
flex?
in white belt. They start, from blue belt and up.
So that's actually
So what you're
he
saying
said.
is, Ozzy was just trying out some new moves he learned on me the other day.
Oh, he was grabbing your legs.
Dude, every time he goes for my legs, dude, every time.
Well, he's a blue belt,
He split me like a ballerina, and my camera's not working right now.
Well, that's a different thing because he was trying to do what is called a banana split,
Yeah. But so
which is an infamous move, that you're gonna see a lot of people from 10th Planet and all that, like really, like legit no gi people, like doing those kind of stuff, So, I mean, a lot of people they tap on those type of things, but honestly, you gotta be very flexible because literally
We're good now.
you're gonna be like split, like in
Yeah, no,
this
no,
is
no.
gonna go banana split because you're pretty much like a full split.
The week before, I had hurt for like 3-4 days with that one leg lock he did. This week, he did it again. I was like, oh shit, he got the leg lock. I'm just going to start tapping. And then he split me. I was like, definitely tapping.
so there's another thing that I think is also a big part of it, especially in United States. Not so much in Brazil or anywhere else or any other country where traditional jiu-jitsu is being practiced, right? It's a normal course of action. So in what are you doing?
Don't pay attention to me.
Oh.
Go.
So basically what's happening with nogi, with jiu-jitsu, there's a stigma in the United States. When you start doing nogi, he's saying they can't see us?
I mean, it's working fine for us on our stream
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
Fo. I would check out your thing because we have a live stream going here. And
Yeah, we're good here.
So with gi in United States, there's this stigma, and there a lot of people saying, well, I don't want to roll around in pajamas. You know what I mean? And that's what they think of the gi as being pajamas. That's why they don't want to roll around.
Dude.
So there's that stigma for it as well. But not to take away from gi or no gi, and I think this kind of gonna lead us into the next topic, right? It's kind of like the Mandalorian, right? So you have these old school you have the old school.
I like this.
You have the
That's
old school
funny.
Mandalorian that are wearing.
Yeah, I did wear my Mando shirt today. That's
Yeah,
funny. I didn't even,
they're wearing the hat.
Get it.
They're wearing the hat, and then you have the new school Mandalorians. Like, what's the girl's name? The one that wears the owl hat.
So Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. And then you have Bo-Katan that takes off her hat. But they both say this is the way. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then so I think what's happening with Bo-Katan now, with her getting her new shoulder cover, right? She's like, well, can I have that monster on my shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So
That Mythosaurs is actually it's part of a clan, right? So like
Yes.
that's the Children of the Watch. Like their thing is the Mythosaur, right?
Yeah.
From that, because that's like their whole thing is being bathed in the living waters. Don't take off your helmet, all that kind of thing.
So what she's doing technically, she's combining both now. Like if you think of Bo-Katan as no gi, and then think of Mythosaur, Children of the Watch, as the gi.
Yeah,
So she's combining both into one.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Actually, that's funny.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Like, you know, there are hardcore believers in gi only, which is you have the Gracie family and their way of teaching, and then you have what's his name? 10th Planet.
Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo.
Yeah.
That is like, fuck you and your pajamas. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go no gi. You know what I mean? And then you have people
I
like,
love the combat jujitsu. I like watching that. That shit's fun.
and then you have people like
Smacking
myself
the shit
and
out of each other.
Felix, who are more like on a Bo-Katan side. We're like, okay, we understand there's gi, and then we understand there's no gi, and we see benefits in both, and then you do both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is that as well.
So you guys are the Bo-Katans of Jiu-Jitsu?
No, not really. I wouldn't say we're the Bo-Katans of Jiu-Jitsu, but we're like,
You're gonna follow Bo-Katan.
Jay, when are
this
we
is the way.
when are we gonna when are we gonna see your
Show me
good
the
friend?
way.
You know, your good friend Alex. You know, like join us.
Man, he is always welcome to join on the panel. I would actually rather have this conversation like face to face with him. You know, even if he has to be through Discord, where like I don't know, like I really
shit,
want to
so-
meet this guy.
So I didn't tell you, Jay. I was telling Miguel today. I'm not gonna like put it too much out there, but me and Alex are gonna start a little project to do exactly
Hell
what you
yeah.
just said, doing like over Discord and online. I mean,
Yeah.
of course we'll do it, however, but we're gonna start a little something.
Yeah, if you see that and if it's working, like, you know, I would want to, like, you know, whoever
I
wants to
told
be
him we were gonna
live,
get
you know,
on
we
it.
just
I told him you
we
were
just
getting
throw
on
the part of the screen on there and
Yeah.
then just kind of go over it. We got plenty of buttons on
Yeah.
on our machine we can click, you know. But guys, I mean, we've been talking about, hey guys, so Emily joined us and she has a beautiful, beautiful bottle. And guess what's on her bottle? The Vitality sticker. Hey guys, if you haven't liked Vitality Instagram page or TikTok page, please do us a favor, go like it, because it's a good friend of us, Aussie. It's his place. If you're local, definitely go visit him. I myself go there once a week, and I get a bunch of stuff done. Last time I went there, I had a shoulder problem, and I did the PMF machine. And actually, the next day, my shoulder was hurting, but not hurting in the sense that, like, actually hurting because it's injured. It was hurting, like, you know, when your body starts healing and you get that type of a hurt. So I had that type of the hurt.
Sort of like a sore recovery.
Sore recovery, yeah. So go ahead, do that, guys. And then while you're at it, give us a thumbs up
It's
if you haven't
weird how
done that already.
PMF reflects your sleep.
Listen, it's crazy. I've never seen nothing like it. You know, if you tried like cryotherapy before, you know, that's the best like, you know, like heating therapy you gotta get out
Or
there.
if you got the balls for the cold plunge.
And trust me,
Devious discussion. What is that?
That's
Invite-
it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it right
Hell yeah,
here.
yeah. I'll
and
join.
trust me, you know, the best
That's it
deal
right there.
in all Tampa Bay area, $1 for you to try out cryotherapy. That's
Right now, we also have
Insane.
a special going on. If you go on the Instagram, you can do the biocharger for free.
Oh shit! And biocharger is kind of cool. It's kind of like, you know what I think of biocharger, because I sat in front of it. I think of biocharger because, you know, every person wants to be in one of those super fast Star Wars planes and go the speed of light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
you get
this is
that
when you're in
hyperspace.
front of it.
Hyperspace.
Yeah.
If you close your eyes, you can see the lights.
Like,
Yeah.
the lights go by. It's super cool. You know what I mean? So that's what it
Yeah.
reminded me of. Hell yeah, I'll come on the Discord. Now, I don't know how you're going to guys do the format. I can tell you this.
So-
I don't know what you're going to do. If it's games, I fucking suck at games. So y'all be talking mad shit, and
Nah,
I'll be
so
throwing controllers at the windows.
We want to do a lot of gaming for sure, but it'll be more basic shit.
You should put him in a game of Tarkov.
No, we won't be fucking playing Tarkov. We won't be doing no hardcore gaming. Probably won't even do shooters at all. Like most of the time, it's gonna be more just like for us to talk shit and have fun and have a good laugh. Because we play a lot of like dumb games, like for example, Phasmophobia and stuff like that, or The Forest. That is like they're like little bullshit survival games that don't really take a lot of focus in a sense. You kind
We
of
can-
bullshit.
we
fuck
can
around.
do
And-
that.
And not only that, we just want to talk too. Not necessarily play. Just get on and talk because they all live out of state.
That Elgato's quitting. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all live out of state and stuff. You know, Alex is in Tennessee. Some of them are in New Jersey.
Oh,
North
hell
Carolina.
no. Jay's not doing no damn Silent Hill. Y'all already told me about Silent Hill, and I'm not
Didn't-
doing that
didn't
shit
you
because
say-
I like my
no,
sleep.
Didn't you say if we got to like 1,000 subscribers, you would do it or something
Yeah,
like
if
that?
you got 2,000 subscribers, we got 2,000, I'd do it.
All
I
right,
said
y'all
it.
better
I'm
start sharing.
a man of my word. I'd do
Y'all
it.
better start sharing.
Yeah, But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, I'll be down. We can even do it in a sense where you tell me when you guys are going.
We're probably thinking to do like.
So
I don't want to say too much.
Alex, anytime you're down here, you should go to Vitality, and I promise you, when you close your eyes and you're in front of that machine, it looks like Mando's N1. Like this is how I picture it. And guess what?
Your Grogu sitting in his lap.
Yeah. And if you want to change dimensions, you tell Ozzy, he changes the program. Now you get different lights, and so you can simulate different speeds too. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'll be down.
You said you had questions about the episode yesterday. You wanted to ask me.
Yeah, so the question I had, so Bo-Katan, right? So now she's pretty much like oh, you're gonna unite all of us, right? Yeah. So the I'm assuming it's a lady that makes the armor.
Yeah, the armor.
It's a girl.
The armor is a woman. Yes.
Yeah, so she makes the armor, and she's the leader of that clan.
Yeah. So. They don't look at it that way, and like she's the leader, but she is kind of like the decision maker.
Like she's the wise woman of the clan.
Yes. Yeah, I guess you can call her the leader. Yeah, you could definitely call her the leader because it's kind of like what she says goes. Because
Alex, I want organic subscribers and followers and likes, not a bot farm. Okay, that doesn't help us. Okay,
we look at the likes and it's like. Account 1 2 3 4. Account 1 2 3 4 5. Account 1 2 3
or there's
4, 5,
bunch of accounts from Bali, Indonesia. You know what I mean? Bot farms.
So you were saying between the armor.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, so she's like the wise lady. Like everyone, like they have the leader, who is that big dude with a gigantic machine gun on his back.
So the thing is he's got a cool backstory. His name is Paz Vizsla. Vizsla is House Vizsla in the Mandalorians. That his ancestor actually created the Darksaber.
Okay.
The thing that Mando holds, right?
And
that's why he tried to fight him. That's why he tried to fight him. He's like, I want that thing, right? Because I bet he kind of feels like he should have it, just like Bo-Katan, because she held it at one point, and like her family was leaders too, and like the whole thing of the Mandalorians is like the person who holds that is supposed to lead Mandalore.
But so this is my question. So Mandalorian, he has the saber. She's the one that's gonna unite them. That motherfucker also wants the saber. Like I can see this going the fucking. You know what? This is going the deep end.
He doesn't. Remember what happened when he got it from Moff Gideon?
Yeah, he can't wield it.
No. But remember on the ship he went to her and was like, she's like, oh, I like, you know, remember. Before they went on the ship, Bo-Katan had like this big thing, like, I want to fight him. I need to be the one to fight Gideon. And she didn't say why. Anyways, Din Djarin ended up being the one to fight him, and so he got the saber. And then there's a whole thing like you should win it in combat, right? He doesn't even want it. When she said that she wanted it, he told her you can have it. He literally held it out and it was like,
but she can't have it because she follows the rules.
Because she follows the rules in the sense that you need to take it by combat. And I think that's why he can't wield it, because he doesn't even really want to lead him in a sense. Like, he doesn't even want to be in that position, and he knows what's behind it. He knows the history of that thing.
And he's not going to fight them.
Yeah, he's not going to fight them. He's not.
You know what I mean?
He's literally just going to be like, take it. Take it.
Yeah, I don't want to fight you. Yeah, I don't want to fight you. But then the cool part was for me when they gave him the darts. They gave the darts to to the kids, and it's like 1 2, and then he does these little Yoda flips.
Yeah,
and that was super cool, you know. Like, so that one was good.
I thought of that the moment that she got Bo-Katan to take off her helmet, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna unite the two ways." The first thing that came to my head was like, "Oh, she's gonna try and fight this man."
Yeah.
And she's going to take that shit. And remember when the N1 ship showed up with just Grogu to her, and she goes, oh, I'm killing it. Like, she said it, I'm killing this guy.
Yeah,
It's going to be the last time he comes here. Like, I'm killing this guy. And then it was just the Baby Yoda by himself, so she, helped out or whatever. But she was ready to kill him. She was like, oh, fuck this, I'm taking that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this could go, like, so many, like, whoever wrote the script are fucking smart because they can take this so many different routes.
His name is Sam Filoni. His last name is like Filoni, and then Jon Favreau, the guy that plays Iron Man's like right hand man, I don't know if you guys remember him. His name is Jon Favreau. He's an actor as well. He's the one who helped create The Mandalorian. Him and Filoni.
Yeah, because I
created
can see them
Mandalorian.
taking it different ways, which is a kind of like that one is actually pretty interesting. Like I've been watching that one, and because I don't watch shows. The only show that I ever watched throughout the years is Blacklist.
It gets so stale though.
To me, I like the reason I watch it is because I truly, truly believe
There's someone like that.
there not only someone, there are some ones, there are many people like that in the world that have that kind of a pool. You know what I mean? And this is why I watch it, because to me it makes sense, you know, like how he navigates these waters, right? And then The Last of Us and Mandalorian were the other two shows that I was like, all right, these are kind of cool to watch. Because again, you know, there's suspense, you know, there's like character development. They're like going through the waves, you know. It's kind of like very lifelike as opposed to like, you know, just healing people in a hospital, you know. You know, so I don't know. That's what I got about that. But John plays Happy in the MCU. Who's John?
Every program just crashes. It's not gonna be.
We're good.
Back.
All right, guys. I
Linked back
think we
to the
just
same
crashed there for a minute, but we're back. Looks like.
Let me see if it's
Yeah,
back.
It's good.
Okay, hey, there we go. Okay.
We crashed, but then we have Miggy on
He's
a
doing
keyboard.
his fucking job.
Yeah.
He's doing his fucking job the right way. I like it.
He doesn't want to get on camera, but he does his job.
Yeah. Yeah, OBS had a quick crash there. That was fucking weird. What were we talking about?
Like Mandalorian, but anyway.
We're talking about Happy.
Oh, Jon Favreau. Pull up Jon Favreau for us.
Yo, so while he's doing that,
I'm happy.
how was your day? How was Lambon?
Don't say that.
Oh my
Don't
god.
say that.
It was okay.
Don't say that. No way. No way.
Oh, you're going to hell.
But how was your day,
was
Emily?
good.
Yeah. Did you get anything fun that happened today? Any crazy?
I did the cryo myself.
Oh yeah, how was that? Did you cheat or did you really do the cryo?
If you're referring to clothing, I cheated.
Okay.
And I only did a minute and a half. I don't know if it was because I felt like really nervous going into
But
it for
that's
some
like
reason, even
CGI,
though I've
isn't
already
it?
done it. And like I went into like the first 30 seconds and I was fine. And then the moment I went to the other side where the fans are hitting, like I was like, and I couldn't catch my breath. Like I was breathing fine, but I just felt like I wasn't breathing enough. And I was like, yeah, let me get out because clearly today's just not gonna work out. So.
And you know that whole thing about when we're talking about being like dehydrated and getting in a cold, bro. I really think that's like true.
There's
because
a lot
I
of
went
things
after
that affect it.
after we trained.
You did it again?
After we trained, yeah, and I was getting bites everywhere, like little needle stabs everywhere on my body.
There's a lot of things that affect it. Number one, like I know hydration, like they say that you need to make sure you have enough electrolytes, whatever. But another thing too is just your mindset. Like if you're nervous going into it, it's not gonna happen. The same thing with the cold plunge. As long as you have the right mindset and you think about your breathing and you relax, you can do it. Like there was a lady the other day that she was nervous and Jamie helped her through it and she did 12 minutes.
Jesus.
Or no, 10 minutes, something like that. I don't know.
See,
But she was really proud of herself because before she would barely even get to 1 minute. But like being coached through the breathing and like relaxing before even going in, she managed to hold it.
I didn't have any problem with the. No, I didn't have any problem, right? I think I could
What
have.
what was her temperature after getting out after
I
12
don't know
minutes?
if he checked it.
I
Well,
think-
it wasn't the cryo, it was the cold plunge,
okay.
which usually there we don't check it. It's cryo where we check the temperature, but I don't think he checked
I
it.
think in cryo, after a while, your body starts heating up.
Yeah.
Like you start shaking and your body starts heating up. Bringing
Yeah.
that's what
Today, I did it
that's
for
what
a
the
minute
shakes
and
are for.
a minute and a half, and my body temperature dropped to 59.
Yeah, and that's where this is the reason your body shakes because it naturally brings up.
I don't know if because I did the cold plunge right at Aussie's recovery center, and man, I feel like if I could get past the cold, right? It sucks, man. You're in there shivering, but my ankles cramped so bad, and it was just like I don't know what it was, but both my ankles were cramping really bad. I kept trying to move my legs and like rest them in different positions, and I couldn't get past that. And I noticed it happened on both times because I went in there for a minute, got out, went into the hot, and then did another minute in the cold, right? Which I'm happy I got 2 minutes in. Which after feeling the first 10 seconds and then actually the ankles hurting, I did not think I would do that long. But I tried after that, right? Because I work construction, and so I come home beat up, right? And next week after that, I tried doing just soaking literally just like up to right here into ice water, and I was having the same problem. My ankles and like the bones. I felt
You
like
might
the
have an
bones in my
issue
feet.
there.
But honestly,
bad.
honestly,
Really,
I
really,
really
really
think
bad.
what Emily's saying is actually very accurate. I remember what the first time. I mean, the only time I've tried like cryo. The day I tried it for the first time. That one time.
Yeah.
I was hearing stories like, yeah, I was there for 1 minute, 2 minutes, like, yeah, 3 minutes. That was the most. So I was like literally like shitting on my pants, like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
The cryo and the cold plunge,
I'm
different worlds.
I'm gonna go in
different
there.
universes.
I don't know what to expect. I was I was
No,
I was scared, whatever. So I started like
Wrestling
in
and
there.
boxing.
I was listening to music. I was like
Yeah.
on my world there. And
After the first few minutes, you kind of like
I exceeded
I've been all
the 5 minute mark. So at that point, I have like the closest like one of us that actually tried it. Like it was like for like 3.5 minutes or so, and I was in there for 5 minutes and something, and I was like, wait. I mean, there's clearly something wrong like with me. I don't want to be Superman here or whatever. So. You know what? Let me get out of here because I don't know like what's gonna happen if I'm here like
I don't know what the rules are.
I don't know what the rules are or whatever. But I was like
had-
I was on my own world. I was like enjoying every second of it. I was like listening to music. I was I was hyped too.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, keep your hands like this. And I was like all the time.
So, like, for example, cryo is one of those that I feel like it's okay to go with a group of friends and everybody, woo, like, hype, you're dancing, whatever, and you can get through it. It's actually easier when you're dancing, listening to the music, singing, whatever. But when it comes to cold plunge, there's a lot of people that cannot do it with other people because just like being nervous of like the other people in the room and like so much going on, they don't focus enough to stay. So a lot of people will do cryo in a group, but then when they go to do cold plunge, they'll go by themselves or maybe just two people and do like contrast back and forth together, play some music, whatever. But they like that one, they say like, oh, we need to focus, like we can't, it's not all like, woo, let's go have fun, because if not, they won't last.
that shit hurts.
But there's so
That's
many
why.
people that go and just
That
sit
one
there and they're
hurts.
like hanging out like nothing. You come in and they're like, oh, hey, what's up? And like chilling. And they're in the freaking cold.
Like you watch Joe do it, Joe Rogan, and he just gets in there like if it was 100-degree water, and that's
Well, that man
like
does the shit on the
34.
daily. You know what I mean?
Those guys do that shit on, but it's like I don't know, man. I really don't know. Maybe you're right. I should see if there's something going on because my ankle's like bad, like really, really bad. Like
When you get on a PMF, do you get the pulses on your ankles?
I did it. I did PMF one time for like 20 minutes, and it just on my shoulders. And I did my shoulders,
You could use
and
the
I did it a
paddles
little
your
on my
ankles.
like upper back here. I went down a little lower, but not anything. else
The
like that.
day I tried like PMF, I was like, listen, Aussie, something's wrong because like clearly like I'm getting all these vibes on my ass, man. Like, I was like, this is not funny.
There was a lady who went, I'm not sure how old she was, but she laid down on it and like she could feel it in her back and then one of her toes were like twitching. And they're like, oh, we've never heard of that. She's like, yeah, that's the toe that I broke when I was like 16. And somehow it was twitching. Like everybody gets a different feeling from it. Like some people say their lower back, their neck, their shoulder. It's crazy. Lynette's hands were going, I guess, from like her carpal tunnel. So
Yeah, mine are shoulders and my elbows. That's
Yeah.
what usually pulses. And that's where I have most
Like
of the
literally,
problems
I was getting
because of
the
jiu-jitsu.
the part of my body that was hurting the most was actually my ass. Like seriously, like what the hell,
What does Patricia do to you, bro?
What you been into? Hey, if it's not jiu-jitsu, what is it?
Like my ass is flat, I don't have like a like humpy ass. Maybe it was getting for the
it was
first time.
working out.
For the first time, was getting action. Like, I was like, oh shit, what the hell? I was like, hey,
Did you
Hey,
have
As
you
long,
have the pad
hey,
on
I'm not
top of you?
saying you shouldn't like it, but if you like that action,
I was like, Ozzy, come here. There's something wrong. Like, really, can you please
Fix
lower down
this
this shit?
oh shit.
That's funny.
But yeah,
Ozzy's
so,
place is fucking great. Like it's phenomenal, really. Like all the different things he has packed into that place is insane. And like for the
And I
price
learn
and
new
everything.
things
and
literally every single time I'm there, of like what different machines are good for, and like it's crazy. Like, it's crazy, all these things. And so many people come in and they're like, oh, we have no idea what this is. But then there's a lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, I have this one in my house. I have the red light in my house. I have a infrared sauna. I have EMF beds at my house. And I'm like, what? How do you people have these things and like know so much to the point where you already have one in your house?
Bro, like that superhuman protocol and stuff like that. Bro, there's a lot, like interwebs are a crazy fucking place, man.
Jay
like
did
you
it,
can
did
go
you know?
down a rabbit hole on this.
What?
I did.
The superhuman
Did you get the
protocol?
oxygen?
What's
That's
that?
with the oxygen and the PMF, right?
What's
Nah,
that?
bro, I did the whole, like, you see YouTube videos, commercials, mask, everything. Like
He did the
yeah,
PMF, then he did the bike with the oxygen, and then he did red light. He did the full
The whole
superhuman
thing.
protocol.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, red light was kind of like the most boring one.
Yes, I know. I hate that.
It's so
Just
boring
they get
because
bored.
you can have your phone in there, but you can't see shit because that red light reflects on the screen, so you're not seeing anything.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to keep yourself like entertained for the 15 minutes you're there, you know. So
You know, I told my wife like the other day, like literally, I've been doing my martial arts and stuff like for so long, like getting throws, flips, involuntary yoga shit, and I've never taken care of my body in any type of like way or shape.
Come
Nothing,
to Vitality.
nothing. So honestly, this is like one of the things that I really need to put into context for as a life purpose, going there and getting some sort of attention to my. Cause I gotta face it. I'm getting old. I'm not like 25 anymore. So.
and you know what I've noticed since I've done so every week now I'm going and doing at the very least cryo, right? If I'm not doing the cold plunge, but throughout the week I'm taking like when I say fistfuls of supplements, I mean fistfuls of supplements. I'm probably like putting down at least 20 to 25 different supplements, right? And what I've noticed, I'm becoming more muscular. But I'm not doing anything differently. I'm still doing just jujitsu. I'm not lifting weights or anything. And I think what that
And
has
aren't
done.
you doing jujitsu less actually now?
No, it's not yes and no. But what's happened? I think that cold and the supplements that I'm taking have increased my testosterone levels, where it's actually building muscle.
They've linked like the cold therapy in general, so either the cryo or the cold plunge to better testosterone levels.
Yeah.
The
Like
biocharger is good for that too.
The guy who actually was talking about how doing the cold plunge before working out is like insanely beneficial when it comes to testosterone.
Yeah.
Like this guy was like, he's saying like he was like 40 something, 50 something. He's like, I have the testosterone levels of a 17-year-old boy. I love it.
Yeah, so like my thing is like, now I have to figure out a way where I can just like, during my lunch, I can maybe run to Vitality, quickly do either cryo or a cold plunge on a daily basis before I get back to work and then get back to jiu-jitsu. Maybe that's gonna like, I don't know. I need to figure out a way where I can start doing it at least once or twice a week.
I could do the like cold plunge without it like hurting that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
You could always do it with like leaving your ankles out, like putting it up, and it's kind of cheating because that's where like the temperature receptors are, so you'll actually be able to last longer. But I mean, you'll still get benefits from it.
I actually listened to Huberman's thing with Joe just recently that they did, and they were actually saying that they were looking at studies, and they were saying that literally, like he wasn't saying he was suggesting this, but even just like they did studies that even just putting your face in like a bowl of ice water will create those like cold shock brown fat proteins and all that. So same effect kind of thing. Like you can do even just a little bit, and it'll have a little something. It goes to show that like if I had to do it like that, leaving my ankles out, that'll still have a lot of benefits.
And they're saying you don't have to like really be in a cold for a long time. I was doing, and most of the benefits you get when you're there between 5 to 10 minutes. Like you don't have to go past 15 or 20 or 30. 5 to 10 is, but you have to do that consecutively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have to do it on a daily basis to kind of maintain that. Which
I don't know if I could do it again, man. That shit hurts.
I kind of want to work myself into getting like, even if it's like 10 seconds at a time, 10 seconds longer, 10 seconds longer, 10 seconds longer. If I can just do that and then slowly increase.
I think I already set my bar too high for me to go past a minute, man. I don't know.
Well then, just 30 seconds and then
go
go
in there,
back
like
to work
I said,
your way
by
to.
yourself. like breathe, focus, like not think about anything else, or just play some music you like, whatever, and just do it.
Just don't
that
do.
day it was too
just
many
don't
of
do
us.
Jack.
It was too
Jack.
much craziness.
No, Jack. Yeah, and so I don't know, man. I kind of want to get back to it because I do see a lot of benefits. Now, I don't think it's placebo effect. I do see a lot of benefits of all these things that I've been using for sure. I can like say it hands down. As little as I've done, I see the benefits for sure, for sure. So yeah, guys, again, if you're in the area, definitely go check them out and give us the thumbs up because you know, no one really is talking about Mandalorian and cold plunges and all jiu-jitsu all in one place, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, but oh, interesting thing I was reading earlier today, and well, listening, you know, and they were talking about how like the proponents of blank slate theory, basically like blank slate is, just to recap, is you're born with a blank slate, and then through your life, through nurture, you get everything that you get, and then there's the opposite side of it where they're saying it's biology, right? So these racists with the eugenics theory, you know what that is? Eugenicists were basically the ones that were saying that basically they didn't want African Americans to be in the United States, and they're saying because they're inferior race because they're not very
and
smart.
They don't want to mix it. And this
yeah,
and that. Okay.
So they were the ones that actually they pushed for the abortion clinics in impoverished neighborhoods and things like that, specifically targeting African Americans, right?
Gotcha.
And they were saying, well, that's all biological, right? Like, but then when I was reading, they're saying, well, no, it's not necessarily that.
What part is biological?
So that intelligence is biological.
Okay.
Right? So they're not saying, no, it's not that. Every person is born with some sort of a advantage, whether it is intelligence, whether it's strength, whether it's height, whatever it is, they're born with that advantage, right? And what they were saying is that a good predictor, however, not 100%, it's a good predictor if the kid is going to be intelligent, if the parents are intelligent. So they're saying that genetically does transfer over, right? So what they were saying that neither those guys are right, nor these guys are right. The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem with that, they were saying, is the minute you bring and say it's in the middle, you recognize the biology part of it. People with a blank slate theory of like nurture is what you are, they don't like that, because now it becomes, okay, well, you're born with these aspects in your life, right? So it doesn't fit our theory, so we're going to negate that.
You know, it kind of just seems like if you break it down, like you can maybe start with, let's say you have twins, right? And you got Ricky and Bobby. Bobby can focus for a little bit longer. For some reason, he just has that. He can focus for 10 minutes longer than Ricky can. But Ricky can draw. Like, and he can just, for some reason, he just got this like artistic thing.
Shake and bake, Ricky
Or-
Bobby.
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last.
So, you know, but you know, if Bobby tried really hard, he could draw just like Ricky, and if Ricky tried really hard, he could learn just like Bobby.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think that's like the middle ground.
Yeah, no, that's true. So the point is that, you know, the whole blank slate theory of like, you know, your environment is what makes you, that's completely wrong, because you know, there's the biology aspect of things, because you do things because subconsciously. Like if you think you have free will, which is the blank slate theory, it's really not. Like, you don't have free will. Every decision you make is driven by your biology. Like, you know, even for example, you know,
what did you say? It's the middle.
It is in the
like
middle.
It has like there is gonna be a, because of your biology, there's gonna be a push more towards this way, but doesn't mean you can't go the other way.
Yeah, and then an interesting thing that they brought up was like, you know, couples that don't want to have children, which is normal thing, right? Like, you don't want to have children, you don't want to have children, but you still marry, you're still with a person, you still have your bedroom fun. And what is bedroom fun? Is reprocreation. Otherwise, you wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go and say, well, it's because it's pleasurable. So, and then the next question is, why is it pleasurable? Because the biology developed you that way to reprocreate, to like a virus. Yeah. So technically, we are a virus that, in the most basic way. Good. Yeah, and the most basic way of saying that you're a virus that wants to reprocreate, even though you understand that, like, okay, well, I don't want to have children. That's fine. That is your choice to do that. But it's somewhere right in the middle. You don't really necessarily have free will. And what you sipping on, Eddie?
That's soda water.
That's soda water, yeah. Yeah. So it's not necessarily like you don't have blank slate, but then it's not that you cannot control it. You can control it as well, but to a certain point. When it comes to those very, very basic biological things such as bedroom fun, food, greasy food, or high caloric food, there's nothing you really can do about it. You just have to, you just have to, you just have to kind of like curb it, but innately you still want it. You know what I mean? So that's why the blank slate theory doesn't really hold up.
Did you guys hear about Elon Musk and other like technology leaders putting a pause on
Yeah,
artificial intelligence?
I saw that. They signed a...
On what? Pause on what?
Yes, I think
Pause on
600
the
people...
progression of artificial intelligence surpassing human intelligence.
No, not progression of artificial...
Even Elon Musk, the geniuses, are like, yo, these fuckers are getting smart. Yep. Slow it
So
down.
yeah, they just
Slow
signed...
it down.
They just signed a petition. Like, these smart dudes signed a petition by saying, hey, let's
Look
not...
that up.
Let's not create an AI that is super smart. Because they're...
Please.
Te Aluma, baby. I love you too.
Yeah.
Hey, mommy.
Have you seen that show? There was a show back in the day. The show had this guy with glasses, and there was this artificial intelligence that could travel through telephone poles and stuff like. I don't know the name of the show.
What do you mean? That was Bill and Ted Boas Journey. What do you mean? That's what they did. Traveling through phones. You remember the movie with Keanu Reeves back in the days? That was like an old one.
Oh, I know about the movie. I haven't seen it.
No.
I haven't seen it.
I
Yeah.
tell you,
You don't know what that movie is? Like it's one of the like the first movies of like Keanu Reeves, Bill and Ted like bogus. Oh come on, Jay.
I really don't.
They did a remake the other day.
But what I was saying, an excellent adventure. Maybe I don't remember the name of the show because I watched maybe like half an episode or something like that. So they had this artificial intelligence that would could literally track you, like put information about you, where police would come and arrest you. Like it would just like if you were against it, it would literally create situations where you're like now you're locked up and you'll never leave because they're trumped up charges against you.
Hold on.
Yeah.
According to Business Insider, Elon Musk and 1125 people,
Yeah, there you
including
go.
AI expert, have signed an open letter calling for a 6-month pause on advanced AI development.
There you
The
go.
letter, issued by the nonprofit Future of Life Institute, called for AI labs to pause training any tech more powerful than OpenAI's GPT-4, which launched earlier this month.
But so they're doing 6 months.
I was gonna say, what's 6
That's why I
months
said
gonna do?
that. That's why I said they're pausing development.
But why 6 months?
That's weird. Maybe they can take off.
Like, why
The
do
whole
they think
entire
we're gonna
world
get
in
so much
6
smarter in
months.
6 months to like catch up? No, I don't get it.
Well, they're pausing the
because
development.
Isn't it because technology advances so quickly that every so often did we like double our
Well,
like
so
That
progression
has
in
dropped,
technology?
though.
What they're saying it's a
Significantly.
10x. What they're saying it's 10x on daily basis, which means if today you set 1,
Speaking of
tomorrow
Trump
it's
and
at a
charges.
10, day after that it's at 100, day after that it's at 1,000. Or so
It's insane.
if artificial intelligence reaches human intelligence, right, 1-to-1, so it's at 1-to-1. The next day it's going to be 10x. So now it's going to be 10x of human intelligence. The day after that, another 10x. So it's 100 at human intelligence. So it's on a daily basis. So within a week, right, it's 7 zeros.
So how do they keep this Tasmanian devil in a cage?
That's the question. That's the question.
Like, how are they gonna like?
China is gonna
I-
let
how are they not
out
gonna
instead of the
Iron Legend
coronavirus,
this? You
the
know what I
AI
mean?
bots.
Yeah. So I mean, like, see,
No, they can't.
I don't think China is stupid enough to do that. Why? Because they would understand, like, if they create something that's gonna be smart enough to attack other countries, it's gonna be smart enough to attack them as well. So I don't think China is that stupid, and they got their own problems right now with their ghost cities. So I don't think China. Although, did you see that whole thing where China, Iran, Saudis, and
It
Russia
was-
signed an oil deal
Not the-
together?
not the oil deal. It's like the biggest thing is that
They're-
they all got together and they agreed on to having the yen
Yuan,
Yeah, using
yuan
their
is
own
the main
currencies.
currency for oil.
So that so obviously
that is big, bro, and
that
is huge.
massive. You gotta like this is like literally the new world order now.
They're trying to do what BRICS did, and I don't know if you guys know what BRICS is. BRICS was a direct competition to
Can we get one
World
of those,
Bank.
Jay?
Which one? Oh, well, here.
I need some ice. Let me get some ice.
Yeah. So BRICS was a direct competition to World Bank, right? BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They came together and they created this world direct competitor to the World Bank, meaning other countries can code to them when they're in a bad situation and borrow what's called a basket of money, right?
This was good.
Of different currencies, yeah. So what they're doing now, they're trying to bring that. They're trying to bring that back up with, which I think for us might be really really bad. And I think one way we can do that, we do have plenty of oil and gas.
Whoa. Sorry, we're just finish.
Yeah, we have plenty of oil and gas within United States for us to say, Saudis, listen, we're not buying your oil and gas anymore. Let's just use our own gas and sell it, because we are selling that gas that we buy from Saudis to someone else. Like, we're acting as a middleman. So why don't I just use
broker
my
in a
own
sense, yeah.
deposits? You know what I mean?
Broker those.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I did not know that. So AI starts writing its own code,
Yes.
and even the creator of the AI can't access these programs.
Yes.
And AI learns and goes into a black box that no one can access.
Yes.
That's scary as shit.
That is.
That's scary as
That
shit.
is.
Because the AI is basically saying, I'm going to create my own.
Yeah. And
I'm going to create my own database that you don't even know about, that is going to have
And
all
then I'm
its
gonna create my
information.
own AI.
Yeah, I'm going to create my own AI.
well, not only that, now
AI is creating AI's simulation with it. Oh, we could talk about that.
Yeah,
Simulation
now
within
see,
a simulation.
what's happening right now, even if AI currently has bias built into it, if AI gets that smart that writes its own code, it's going to eliminate the bias that's created within the code. Now, what that will do, that will create a very democratic, like a true form democratic system without any feelings. And when that happens, guess what? When you smoke that weed in a state that you're not supposed to smoke weed, and AI can track you, police is gonna be knocking on your door. So this what happens. And so now us as humans gonna have to become more like robot-like and literally follow the rules, which becomes what? Communism. Because so technically, this is where we humans, we cannot act the way AI is, because AI, once it develops and becomes super smart, it's going to be like the true form of democracy that's good for everyone. So now if this child needs to die for everyone else to be saved, that child is dying. I don't care what you feel about that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So these are the implications. The problem is AI cannot have feelings. And if AI had feelings, it would be different, but they cannot, because logically it would not make sense.
They have the ability to learn. That's the whole thing of an AI, right? So it's not just like you set up, for example, like you think of like something that works automatically. Like, for example, your brother's fish feeder. That's
Yeah.
automatic, right? So I'm like, oh, that's AI because it does it on its own. It thinks on it. No. That thing is just set up on a timer
yeah.
and a program that tells it to do this thing. And it's just set up, boom, a code written,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, if that code could learn some new code to tell it to optimize this time, because when the fish are, they know it's hungry and it's not, that's an AI because it can learn.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that difference really, but
Yeah, and that's the scary stuff about me, because I acknowledge that there are feelings, even though I like to think always more logically and remove my feelings when
You
I'm
have to acknowledge
making
what is.
decisions. Yeah, so that's the problem that we have right now, and I think this is why they signed. I also think this is what they're showing us to us. I think they're all trying to develop their own AI, and they're trying to develop something that's going to curb it. So I think that's what's going on.
AI is like
Is there like an app on the phone like for AI now, like a
Yes.
like a Chat
Yeah.
GPT?
Yeah.
Which one
It's
is
not,
it?
It's just a shortcut. On your iPhone, you can put a shortcut in. You just download the shortcut. You put it in your iPhone, and they say, "Hey Siri, check this on ChatGPT," and then it'll give you the answer, and it'll directly link
Damn,
to
that's lit. I
ChatGPT.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
But
Mac has the self-alone standing software.
But you look at all the beneficial things of AI, because what we look at technology is now is like, how can we make more comfort, convenience, and stuff? And AI has a lot of contribution to that, in our everyday things of taking care of, I guess you can say like man hours that had to be put in by actual humans now is being done by AI in a sense, because these things can learn.
Yeah, and then you can move on doing other things or possibly take up more responsibility, right? Like, because for example, in an investment field, there investment fields are like, there was this New York article. It talked about a blindfolded monkey throwing a dart at the financial section of a New York stock exchange, and whatever stock it hits, just has as much of a chance of going up or down as you sitting down and doing your research, right? So if you take AI and that can think at the speed of light, think about the implications of that. So whoever's going to be on that,
right, like Jay, but I like in regards to the finance world, like and leveraging a little bit about the monkey thing. Even Warren Buffett said it one time. Like there could be any potential like monkey out there would like randomly pick a stock, and based on how the market was performing on the past like 15 years before all this shit is happening now, it was like the chances of you like making money of it was like very big, but in reality now, there's like much into it, like, and this is how you compare. Like you have your degrees in financing here and there, and you have like all these financial advisors like, yeah, like go here, and people, yeah, I'm making money of this, but literally everybody could do it. Like under these circumstances, based on what's happening, everybody predicting a market crash. We are literally on a recession now.
Yes.
Although the government is saying that we're not. We're not in a recession.
They went in and said, "Oh, we're gonna change the definition of recession, so we can say we're not in a recession."
So
what we're experiencing right now is what's called an inflationary recession, which means inflation is going rampant. We're increasing the interest rates, however, it's not stopping.
So it's
slowing down by a little bit, but it's not stopping.
You know that the Feds are going to be. I saw this article this morning. The Feds are going to be increasing the rates again on May, and that's supposedly to be like the last one, at least for 2023.
Yeah, they're saying that, but that depends on the inflation. If it doesn't stop inflation, we'll continue like CPI inflation. We're going to continue raising it.
But the only way to stop inflation is for people to stop spending. By people stop spending, it's gonna take like a lot of people, getting without jobs and having, like substantial income to spend.
Correct. Not only
so
that,
the government is actually, crossing fingers because they're saying like, yeah, we've increased the rate to this like unseen like rates, and we only have like a 4.5% unemployment like in the nation, and this is like the lowest that has been in the last whatever like 30 years, and so they're justifying whatever they're doing, that like obviously like seeing how elastic is the economy. I'm putting more rates, like increasing rates, and everybody is like, it's like, and how you compare elasticity, on the economy base to a reality. It's like, let's say you take like salt, for example, right? So you're pouring salt into your food, and like say, okay, you put a little bit of salt, you're eating it, okay, it's salty.
Hi, Zeus.
You put a little bit more. It's like, until what point of you pouring salt, it's actually, like at a level that you can actually, eat it, and now becomes, disgusting or whatever, on completely, like out of taste. It's the same situation now. The Feds are increasing rates. People are going to be still investing, and they're like, okay, like, I'm increasing rates. Everybody's still doing their shit.
Yeah.
So let's see, how far can we get this, game going on?
This is, I think, what
increasing rates. I mean, 5. Okay, people are still spending, doing whatever they're doing. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. People are, it's gonna come to a point. It's like, listen, this is unbearable now.
So
Boom.
I think this is what's going on. I think, again, this is my opinion, not a financial advice. I think this is what's going on. As you saw, bunch of banks collapsed, but these were not big banks. These were small banks that collapsed, and bunch of big banks came in and gobbled them up. Why? You got to start thinking why. What happened in 2020 during COVID? FinCEN was invented. FinCEN is basically the centralized blockchain, right, for United States currency. So I'm thinking this is what's happening. I think these big banks are getting together, they're gobbling up the smaller ones so they can implement a United States cryptocurrency that's going to be controlled directly by Federal Reserve. And we all know Federal Reserve is something completely different, right? Like, it has nothing to do with the government. It's its own entity that United States government borrows money from, and then they pay it back when times are tough, right? So what they're going to try to do is implement a cryptocurrency, number one. Number two, what the banking system has done really well is pushed people to use their credit as spending money, right? So now a lot of people are using credit as a way of elastic money, even though they don't have it. Oh, I have 30 years pay, I will be paying. But because we cannot think statistically, right? Like, our brains are not designed to think statistically. We're not taking in consideration, yeah, you buy a house, you're going to be paying it for 30 years, but what if you lost your job? What's going to happen to this house now? Right? We don't think of it that way, and we're using our credit to buy shit because it's much easier to swipe a card than pull out cash out of your pocket and give it to them, right? Because when you do that, you're like, oh shit, I had $1,000 and I'm down to 500. I better stop spending, right? With a swipe, you don't see it, right? So you have a couple of things. It's like a perfect storm. You got a couple of things that are happening all at once, and I think they've created a system, and I think this could actually prove really bad for us. We're going to be even more dependent on the government. We're going to be even more dependent on money. We're going to be even more dependent on trying to be able to borrow money or not. You know what I mean? When it becomes centralized, they're going to say, well, no, you're not going to get shit because you already have this, right? So
Jay, as a financial advisor, let's say you
I can't
have
give advice. I cannot give advice.
you have $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think would be a smart, type of investment right now?
So $200,000. Again, this is not a financial advice. In my opinion, you should sit down and think about a couple of things. You as a person, what am I trying to get out of this $2,000? What is my risk appetite, right? And how old I am, and when I try to retire, and if that's going to be enough. Once you do all that, then you can say, okay, well, I can go into maybe real estate. I can go maybe into stocks and bonds. I can go maybe into CDs. It really depends on your own situation.
Do you think it will really? I mean, real estate is always going to be out there, and
But people need somewhere to live, just like people die and just like people want to eat.
The thing is, for example, that everybody's saying, like, all the people on real estate. I mean, if it's for you to invest, it's good. If it's for you to live, people are saying don't.
Well,
so because like honestly, you having like the the rates as the way. I mean, you can always like renegotiate, but you know that the market it's inflated right now. Like the housing market is like way too expensive, and the way I put this, it's like really in reality you have let's say two young people, like recently married or they just want to move together and buy a house, right? Right now, I mean, this is St. Pete, so for you to get a decent house, and by a decent house I mean like nice areas and things in terms of like square footage.
500.
Probably, I mean, again,
you have many
two at a minimum. Decent area, you're not seeing less than 400,000 bucks.
Yeah.
So let's say 400,000 bucks, and let's say you are lucky enough, then you can put 20% down. right?
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the you have many options in this situation, right? You have the option to own, you have the option to rent, you have the option to become a real estate investor, whatever. But you need to. So if it's a couple and they're serious about real estate investment, then they can look into that avenue of becoming a real estate investor. And
Yeah,
when
but
people say,
not investment. I'm saying like
Well, I'm
again,
getting there, I'm
again
getting-
let's say like this beautiful couple here.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
This beautiful couple here, right?
I'm getting there.
Young entrepreneurs trying to like yeah, we want to go ahead and eat the world, right? Let's get a house. I mean, obviously they're both starting. Clearly not millionaires, but they're working, making decent money, and blah blah.
Mindset though.
So you getting a house right now, 400,000. Let's say you put in a $20,000. A 20% down payment.
Well, you don't have to do that. As a first house, you don't have to do that.
Okay, so even worse, you own like $350,000. How much do you think the mortgage is gonna be? We're talking about like a minimum, like close to 3,500 a month.
So I'm gonna
overall.
So I'm gonna talk.
So do you think like for a new young couple, straight out that wants to build a family and stuff like that, do you think that's like bearable? Like you think that's affordable?
I'm gonna speak on that from the point of risk and from point of income, right? So as far as point of risk, if this young couple says, you know what, I cannot see myself in 5 to 10 years to 20 years becoming a real estate investor, right? I cannot see that, but they want to have their own little nest, right? In this point, they have to say this: listen, this is a big commitment. I'm gonna buy the house, but if I buy this house, I'm gonna have something, right? I'm gonna work really hard to pay this, and you might not be able to do certain things in your life, which means, I hate to say this, but you might have to cut out some expenses in order to own this house, right? Because down the road, you'll have some sort of equity that you can use, let's say, to buy your next big house where you're gonna have children, this and this and that. Now, in terms of risk, that's probably the lowest risk you can take besides renting, right? That's the lowest risk you can take. The next aspect of risk is going to come in. Well, okay, well, I can see myself becoming a real estate investor. Now it's going to become a bigger risk where you can buy this house and then rent it to yourself, right? And write things off. So now this is where the taxes start coming in. So this is where you need to talk to an accountant. How do I leverage this, right? And then the third thing is you say, fuck all this. I'm just going to pay my rent because it equals to mortgage. Because if you think of it as a subscription service and you say, okay, well, if I'm going to buy this house and then 7 years later I'm going to buy another one. So I'm going to perpetually buy houses and perpetually paying this, I'm going to pay a mortgage. But then when you're paying this rent, right, and instead of paying the mortgage, now you don't have equity, right? So I think in United States, this country was built on the idea of a nuclear family, white picket fence, and a Labrador, right? And now it's a Labradoodle because they don't have as much hair, right? So if it's the white picket fence, wife and a husband and children, you need to have something a little more stable, and I think a house is a good way to go. And especially if you're going to stay in this area. But if you know that in 2 years you're going to move to a different area, then obviously renting might be less risky, right? You can take on more risk, get this house, and then rent it out. So it really depends on your own personal situation, and you have to be able to kind of project what you're going to do in 10 years, have a plan, and follow that plan. But you can't just halfway stop and change it.
That's the thing, that always going to be the American dream is to buy a house, is to own a house, is to own a property, And
these are the decisions.
Do you and this is where as far as a like a common citizen, human being, seeing what's happening, I honestly think it's outrageous. It's ridiculous for like a new new homeowner, especially if they're like very young, trying to let me go ahead and start a family and all that. Like to pay 3,500 bucks as a simple mortgage because like the interest rate are really up there. And yes, you're saying like, yeah, go ahead and buy the property. The interest rate are gonna go down. Everybody knows they're gonna go down. You can always like refinance and shit. But again, there's two aspects of it, you have the interest rate are high, and then the housing prices are high as well. So because of the interest rate going up, like on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it's unbearable for people like to invest. So now the housing prices are going down, but still, like, when you see it like 10 years from now and now, it's ridiculous the amount of money that you're gonna be paying.
Yeah, but see, this is what we're talking about with jujitsu. Like, unfortunately, in this situation, you might need to have to embrace the suck, right?
So I I don't know if I hope Emily's not mad about this, but we got into an argument actually the other day, and we were talking about kind of our future in the sense we want to get a house, right? Just like you're talking about, and I kind of I was like going back and forth with her. Because I was like, look, we're not going to be able to get a house for at least another 3, probably 4 years even, if you really put it in the grand scheme of things. Because even if, say we, like I was telling her, like, for example, say we make sure we get a job that is paying us $25 an hour, and we work 40 hours a week for the next 2 years. Even then, when we get a house and we're doing all the stuff we need to do, we're going to be, like, scraping by our teeth. Right now, in the current situation, we still be scraping by our teeth to do so. And so it's almost just near to impossible, right? And so explained my point of view was, like, I'd rather sit and suffer in our current situations and just, like, put my head down and work. Like I was telling her, I really want to, focus on our E&E Imaginations, which is our custom goods business, which if you need anything custom made, hit us up. Like, I'd rather focus on that or focus on whatever the hell we want to do, and, like, just if we have to stay at our parents for whatever time, and and then when we want to move on with a certain sense of comfort.
Now, I agree with that idea that you have. However, you have to start this mentality because it's gonna suck, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's still gonna suck, but what I'm meaning is minimize risk.
So to minimize the risk, this is what you should probably consider doing, right? Again, the education part of it. What you can do, one avenue is think that you bought a house, think that you need to pay this mortgage. However, you're living with your parents and you're putting that money to the side. Once you put all that money to the side, when time comes for you to buy the house, now you have this little nest egg that you can take out of and then invest into this house.
Hey, Damaris.
You know what I mean? So the point here is you're going to have to embrace the suck and then say, I'm a grown-up. This is what I'm going to do. And whatever happens is no one's fault. It's my fault, right? Because I made the wrong decision. So this is where you're at the crossroads of saying, okay, well, I have to choose which road I'm taking. And if this is the road that I'm taking, I can see myself in 5, 10 years, 30 years. I have a plan. So having this plan, it takes time and effort, and you have to sit down and think about it. It can't be just willy-nilly, well, we can work, we can make this, we can... No, it doesn't work that way. You really need to have a plan and sit down and follow it. And I think the issue right now in general with the populace is, well, we're individuals, we deserve this, like there's sense of entitlement and things like that. With the sense of entitlement comes a lot of not being able to make decisions.
I'm looking at it in the sense I want to basically use my entitlement, the privilege that I had smart parents that created this really good base.
Well, that's not entitlement. That's just circumstance, right?
So,
entitlement meaning like I should have a house, and by any means I should have it, and government sucks because I don't have a house, like blaming someone else.
Yeah. So, and like Emily's in the same situation, like her parents are super smart and they have this house and they both work and they create the situation where they're really comfortable. And I know that her parents are the same way in the sense like they don't care how long we stay there if it means like creating the right base and doing it the smart way. Like my parents are not going to be kicking me out. Like they're not the type like, oh, you turned 18, get the fuck out. No, they're not like that. So I want to use that in the sense of like I don't want to mooch off my parents, but they're my parents. You know what I mean? Like they're there for that in a sense, like to help you create this base, right? Like to help you grow up.
If you're gonna have that mentality, in my opinion, whatever extra, even if it's 50 cents extra you have, you need to put that away. Now, also you can't forget that there's this thing called time value of money, right? If you want to be super secure with your investments, there are CDs that you cannot touch for, let's say, 12 months and things like that, right? Like you have all these products that are available where you take this money and you literally forget about it. This is what you need to do, and that's save that money. Basically save that money. That's the bottom line. it's gonna suck, but that's what part of being grown up is. Like, you have to. I'm not saying swan dive into it, toe dip, but you have to be smart at every step. And this is where the suggestion comes in. Well, what do I do? What do I do now?
Primo. Yeah, I just was telling her that the other day because, you know, we had been talking lately, especially like, you know, we're breaking down the whole housing situation. Like, oh, if we save this amount of money every week, you know, with our check or whatever, and by this time, and okay, they need to know we work for somewhere for 2 years. Okay, let's try and do it in 2 years. And, you know, when you look at it at face value, you're like, oh, it's doable because that's like the minimum requirement. But like, it's kind of like when they tell you, yeah, you can get your master's in 6 years, but it's like, well, most people fucking don't. Like, the majority of people take 7, 8 years or whatever it is. It's kind of like I want to take it the same. Yeah, those are different. Yeah, those are. You won't stop on those. I want to take the same aspect in the sense like do it the right way and take my time.
Well,
I also I can admit like all the things I messed up on. If I would have made sure I didn't fuck up on the first year and a half of school that I did, be done with it by now. Shit, if I would have started school and did it the right way, like since I left high school, I would have my bachelor's degree by now. Like, there's a bunch of things I could have done the right way, but you know that's in the past. So let's look at now.
No,
right?
well, the good thing is you're still young, right? Like you're in your early ass 20s. You're not gonna hit your stride until you're mid 35. This is by any probability and chance you look, you're not gonna hit your stride until 35 to 45. So you still have 15 years to get your shit in order, right? So to do that, you need to start today. So in 15 years, you got your shit in order, right? But the bottom line here is, if you embrace the suck right now, it's going to be easier later, right? And I'm a big proponent of a school because you can go to school, you can get a respectable degree. I'm not talking about arts and learning how to draw or dance. You can get a respectable degree that's going to earn you money. For example, we're just talking about it. You know the guy that, I forget his name, but this guy is a billionaire, and how he got there is by literally putting porta potties and collecting human shit. Do you think he woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to collect human shit one day. This is my dream to collect home.
Brother. Yeah, I clean toilets, and thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Love y'all.
So the point here is, as long as you have that mentality and you say, you know what, I'm going to take accountability on what happens. I'm not going to blame everyone else, but I'm going to try to minimize the risk that I have as much as I can, and then just do my best and just constantly, whether it's your little side hustle you got, that's what it is a side hustle. You continue working on your side hustle, even if it means not sleeping till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, doing your side hustle, not the shit that you want to do, but the shit that you don't want to do. I think that's like, nothing is given easy, right? Like, there's a reason why the people that win the lottery, millions, they're broke within 5 years because they didn't earn it, so they don't know. So what that process is going to teach you is the value of money and how to maneuver your money in the right way, right? That's why no one takes advice from trust fund babies, right? But they take advice from self-made millionaires. So it's just, you're going to have to embrace the suck, and the sooner you do it, the better it is, because now you have time to fail several times until you hit your 35s when you get your shit together. And the more you fail, the better you're going to become at it.
And I'm looking at it as like, but if I can house my failures within like, I mean, I guess it's almost like maybe not the best mindset, but like housing those failures, if I can get that done with like a safety net under, which is like my still living at my parents' house kind of thing, is that safety net. So, you know, it's, why should I invest? Next thing you know, I invest $2,000 I have in my pocket, and I invest into the business, and the next thing you know, it goes to shit. It's like, okay, well,
the greatest thing out of this is, and I learned that in economy class, is what's the definition of a cynical person? You know what's a definition of a cynical person?
Cynical person? No, give me the definition of a cynical person. No, sir.
A cynical person is the person that knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. You know? At the end of the day, this is profound, huh? This is not like, you know, like, we're not talking about, like, you know, shallow shit here.
Y'all, we're giving you the sauce, guys. Hit that like button.
Listen, you are on track You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're a hard worker. I've never seen a person.
Alex said a Democrat.
I've never seen a person so hard, like as a hard worker as you are. So you're pretty much on track or whatever. And in a certain way, I mean, you're on your 20s. I'm on my 40, and we have the same situation. I literally, I moved here in 2019. I don't have a property, and I have a family and I have a family, wife and 2 kids, and I want to buy a house.
And right back at you, brother. You're super smart. I know you hard work.
So
work your ass off every day.
So, but the thing is that I've always been on that same track. I mean, I hate taking big risks. Especially when it comes to money.
And you have so much to lose. You got your wife, you got your 2 kids. It's like you have to look at, like, you're not only backing you got to back them.
There you go. So every decision I make, I have to think about the 4 of us.
Yeah.
But again, you got to understand that you're on the right track. Everything you do is for a purpose, and you gotta like think it that way. As long as as long as you don't settle to be on a certain comfort zone on a daily basis, you're gonna be good. I learned from a good friend of mine, which is he was my boss at a certain point. He said that, and it was on Spanish. I'm gonna say it in Spanish, and I'm gonna translate it in English. But he said, "El no avanzar es retroceder," meaning that you're not going forward. You're not advancing on a daily basis. It means that you're going backwards. If you have $100 today on your bank, and Jay's not gonna lie on the financial aspect, not $100 because that's ridiculous, right now. But let's say you have $100,000 and you have it in your on the bank.
That's just as ridiculous.
You have $100,000 in the bank, right? And you're like, yeah, I don't want to go ahead and do this type of investment here and there because I'm gonna be. You having $100,000 on your bank, if you're not doing anything to keep up with inflation, you are losing money. And you're saying, no, but I have my same $100,000. Yeah, you're.
But today
again,
it's really worth $99,998
because of purchasing power, because you have an inflation out there, which is like I don't know, you want to put it at 8% or whatever it is. If your money is not making at least a minimum of 8% per year because of inflation, then your purchasing power is going to be less. Meaning that what is costing you today $100, tomorrow is going to be costing 108. So again,
that's where that time value of money I was talking about. That's where this comes in. It's not because inflation is going up, but because that money has a value. The time within that money has a value. And I think what he's saying is, if you're not capitalizing on that value, you're actually losing, right? So
you're
at
not
the
moving forward, you're moving backwards, brother.
So let me give you a
like
good
you're
example.
staying on the same spot because I'm a conservative. I don't want to go ahead and do this and that.
But because we're going forward and you're staying here, you're behind the rest. You're going backwards, really.
You're not behind the rest.
You're
still
not
ahead
you're
of a
not
lot.
keeping up. You're not keeping up. So you're gonna be left behind.
Number one, I would say, don't get into any kind of debt that does not going to return anything to you, such as credit card debt, for example, or a car debt, because these assets not only don't bring you money, they actually depreciate. So don't get into depreciating type of debt. Number one. Number two, have enough savings that whatever you think is enough for you to pay mortgage or whatever bills you have between 6 months to 1 year. At least have that. That's going to be steadily earning some sort of and keeping up with inflation, right? That's number two. Once you have those things together, now you can start thinking about, okay, so what's the next step? So you have to kind of baby step this, because once you solve the first problem, the second problem is going to use whatever you use to solve this one, and then you add to it, right? So bottom line is just strap your belt, do it now, because that's going to become a habit for later and that's gonna actually aid you in life later because it might mean that you might not be able to buy the newest Nike sneakers. You know what I mean? But that's okay because you have old Nike sneakers and you can look for one on sale, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, that's the bottom line, especially if you're not coming from that whole trust fund baby money. Like, it would be nice for all of us to have Ferraris, but then Ferrari would not be Ferrari if all of us had them.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I feel like we could sit here and talk for hours, boys, but we gotta.
I gotta say a special hello to Josiah's grandma, Damaris. Thank you for being.
Congratulations and thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course. I mean, great grandma. I love the picture, by the way, that you posted over there on the chat. So
her and Ozzy are probably one of the sexiest grandma and grandpas I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, both of them.
Don't say that. We're gonna see a post of Ozzy. I'm sexy and I know it. I know Ozzy. He's capable of that, man.
Hey, I told him that earlier today. I told him he's sexy and we know it.
All right, so thank you guys for coming. Make sure to hit like and subscribe.
On your way out, please.
Yeah. So remember, check out Vitality if you're local nearby. If not, even just go on Instagram. And I think you guys have a Facebook too, right? Facebook, Instagram, a website, and all. We'll post
Insta for sure.
We'll put that shit in the description.
I know there's a TikTok and an Instagram. I'm not sure.
We'll also put in our E&E Imagination thing, so anybody local looking for like custom goods,
or not even local, we can ship.
Yeah, we can definitely ship. But local's nice because we can get that shit to you quickly. But hats, shirts,
courtesy
cups,
to E&E.
Right? Like these right here.
Vitality. Banabadang. Banabadang. Listen, that's the place to go.
100%. Thank you guys for coming. Love you guys all. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you.
Peace.